What's going on, you guys? Coach Silva here. So today's topic, we're gonna be talking about how I got to where I am right now, and this is probably gonna be a long video. So if you don't want to watch it, all you gotta do is just X out of it. But those that want to watch and listen, just bear with me. It's a long story. So let me get to the point of what I'm gonna be talking about. It's something that someone asked me a while back, and they were asking how I got to where I am today, how I'm successful, do the things that I do. Like I think it was about like coaching or personal training. I can't remember, but anywho, they were asking me how I got to where I am, how I'm successful, yada yada. And I just like, it's a long story, but ultimately, let me tell you, the best way to say is failing. Failing is what got me to where I am today. So now, majority is like, what do you mean by that? It's like, well, not all great success stories come from always being successful and always winning or whatnot, being this ultimate person. I wasn't like that. So let me take it from the beginning. So I just graduated high school. Hoorah! It's a great accomplishment now. But the first accomplishment was getting accepted to the Idaho State University. I was the first generation in my family to be accepted into a university and to attend. Now, did I take my education serious in high school? No. I cheated the system a lot. I didn't even really read a book, and I had friends that helped me cheat in tests or do my homework for me or give me the answers and do the whole like, hey, can you hand me your homework, or what was the homework? Let me jot it down. Not make it so similar, but whatever. And the infamous saying, D's will get you a degree, and ultimately I carried that on into college. And that was probably one of my biggest regrets, listening to the idiot that told me that. But anyway, it's my freshman year, and I can't even honestly tell you anything about it because it was such a blur. Because every single weekend from the fall semester all the way to the spring semester, I would just get plastered drunk, and I would find any excuse to have a beer in my hand or to chug a beer or whatever it may be. And I didn't take my education serious. And then I learned the hard way that you have to maintain a certain GPA to stay in the university. And if you don't, you get dismissed. I was almost dismissed from the university. And my GPA by the end of my freshman year was a 1.98. And they sent a letter home to your home address and whatnot. And my mom got a hold of that letter, and I know it's bad. You're not supposed to open other people's mail, but I was still living under her roof when I went home, no matter what. So she opened up the mail, and she saw what was in the mail, that I was being put on academic probation. I couldn't be a full-time student. I had to be a part-time student. And if I were to fail, or in her case, if I were to fuck up again, I would be dismissed from the university. And then another letter was sent in saying that I lost my scholarship. Yeah, I lost the scholarship because I didn't maintain a 2.5 GPA. I didn't know that. I just got the scholarship because I was a Hispanic, and I had a background story about how I was going to be the first generation in my family to attend and graduate college. But my main priority was to go out and party, drink some beers, and try to hang out with the guys, the girls, and whatever. Because what is it that we see on TV and movies? The main character that goes to college, what's the first thing they show? Partying. They don't show them putting more focus on the education. It's like, man, that's what I'm going to be doing when I go to college. I'm going to have so much fun. I'm going to grab a beer and just, chug it. Underage drinking, blah, blah, blah. But whatever. So anyway, I get home from college, and I stayed a little longer just to hang out with friends and just well, just to drink. But I get home, and man, just thinking about it, yeah, like it really hits me, guys. But I just remember her just holding that paper, and she was like, "We need to talk." And my stomach just dropped. I'm like, "Oh boy, what did I do?" So she sits me down, and some of the words that no one ever wants to hear, especially coming from your parent. And my mom, she does everything and anything that she can for me because I'm her firstborn, I'm her baby. And she hits me with this first, right off the bat. I'm disappointed in you. Yeah, just right off the bat. I'm disappointed in Mijito. I don't bust my ass off for you to go to college and for me to get this fucking paper. And she hands it to me, and I'm reading it, and I was like, oh my god. Yeah, so I'm busting my ass off for you to go fuck around. If that's the case, then we might as well just go back to college. We might as well not. You might as well just stay here or might as well stay here and go find a job and be like your father, you know. And that really hit me. And no offense to my dad, you know, I love my dad, but he doesn't have a great success story. He was dismissed from elementary school for throwing a chair at his teacher. He only has a third grade education, and all that guy knows is work. And my mom didn't want me to be like that. And so, I promised her, I was like, Mom, I promise you, I'm gonna get you that degree. I'm gonna fix this. And she's like, you better. If not, then we're pulling you. I don't care whatever you do, but I'll pull your ass faster than you were born. Like shit. And so going into my sophomore year, I hit the books like no other. And as cliche as it is, like I did everything that I could to get my GPA back up. And anytime I was invited to a party, I was like, "No, man, I gotta study. I gotta work on my school. I gotta work on my schooling." Yeah, they would tease me like, "Oh, you're such a fucking nerd. Oh, you're such a loser. Blah blah. I don't want to hang out with the boys. I don't want to party." And like in the back of my head, it's like, dude, I want to, but I don't want to disappoint my mom again. I don't want to disappoint my family. I don't want to let my family down. I especially do not want to let my grandma down. And my mom told my grandma about it too, and my grandma, God rest her soul, she told me too that she was disappointed, and those are the two ladies I didn't want to disappoint anymore after that. So, after my sophomore year, I got my grade back up. I became a full-time student in the spring, and so I got my GPA up to a 2.8 overall, and then I finished that off with a 3.2. And I busted my ass off from a 1.9 to get it back to a 3.2. Then going into my junior year, I got accepted to the program. I graduated, and I became the first Silva and Montoya in my family to attend a university and graduate. That was my first failing moment. Alright, well, I'm pretty sure everything was all uphill from there. Nope, it wasn't. So I got my degree, and now the next thing was to go, I stepped foot into reality, the real world. And that was just a slap in the face itself, too. I didn't know, like, how to get a job I knew how to get a job, but to start my career. But ultimately, I had to take the MBLEX to be a licensed massage therapist. So I took the I took the test, and I bombed that thing. I was nowhere near passing, and I was like, "Oh my man, I just failed. Now what am I gonna do?" Because you have to wait X amount of time, and I was very impatient. Like I just wanted to get going. I wanted to go full throttle, start my career, start working. and I couldn't do it because I failed. So I had to start working in Mountain Home for a little bit. What was I doing? I think I was working with like cattle. I was doing hard labor work. And then my girlfriend at the time, she helped me out. And now, those of you who don't know, there's 5 states in the United States where you don't need to be a licensed therapist. And where she's from, she was born and raised in Victor, Idaho. So right next door is Jackson Hole, as the majority of you all know. And so like her parents always read the newspaper, and she was reading the newspaper. I don't know why, but anyway, she saw that there were some places out in Jackson Hole that were hiring for massage therapists. So she took a picture of it, sent it to me, say, hey, come on and apply. I know you want to get going and working. You didn't bust your butt off for that degree for nothing. And I was like, all right, you know what? Screw it. I'm on my way. Got all dolled up for the interview, dressed to impress. I go over there. I was told no 5 different times. 5 times, guys. I was told no because I didn't have experience. And like, even with my degree, I was like, I have my degree. Like, I busted my ass off for this degree. How is this not enough? Well, you need X amount of years to be classified as experience. I'm like, okay, whatever. And for the 6th spot that I went to, I got my yes. I got my yes at Snake River Lodge and Spa. Stacy and Eddie Woods, they were my first bosses for starting my career. I had an amazing experience there. I had so much fun. I learned a lot. Well, then why'd you leave? Well, guys, I moved out there for a girl. And we know how that went. But, do I regret it? No, I don't regret it at all. But it's at the same time, it's like, why would I stay there? I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be, I'm doing what I enjoy. But at the same time, massage therapy was killing me. It was hurting my body. So I told him, I was like, after being there for 3 years for them, I was like, I gotta call it quits, because it was hurting my body. It was taking a toll on my body, and then B, I moved out there for a girl, and I didn't want to be there anymore. So I came back to Boise, and I was living with my friend, my good friend Zach. And I told him, I was like, now I gotta start finding a job out here, and I really don't want to live with my mom. He's like, well, come live with us. We have an extra room. Like, all right, cool. So I did what I could to help pay. I didn't pay any rent. I just paid him for his Wi-Fi or whatever. And then the girl that he was dating at the time, she was kind of annoyed, so they kind of like kicked me out. And I was like, well, great. Now I'm living with my mom again. And then I found a job up in Boise, and this is where I first started working for a gym, and that was for Crunch Fitness. And I was the front desk guy. I was the opener. I got the job. They hired me right on the spot. And they're like, whoa, wait, you didn't start off as a personal trainer? Nope, I didn't. I didn't start off as a personal trainer. I didn't even consider being a trainer at all. I was just the opener, waking up at 3 o'clock, commuting from Mountain Home to Boise to get the club open at 4:30. It was rough. And then finally I decided to move to Boise, live with my cousin, and helped her out as best as I could. And then and I was there I was the opener for like, I don't know, 5 months, 6 months or something like that. And I was ready to quit. I was tired of it. Waking up so early just to deal with people's shit, get yelled at and all this. I'm like, man, this sucks. And then an opportunity came. I will never forget it. Some guy, it wasn't Mike Pacheco, it wasn't Mike DeMore either. It was just some guy that was representing NCEP. Now, and I'll get to a different story about NCEP on a different post. And so they were talking about hosting a personal training class, and I was like, "Hey, you're probably talking to the wrong guy, bud. But let me hand you over to the one that'll be in charge of it." So I hand the phone over to the fitness manager, and he was like very interested in it. And he comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, why don't you become a trainer, dude?" I'm like, "No, man, I don't want to be no trainer. I don't have the patience for that, and I don't want to do that. Like, why would I want to be a trainer?" He's like, "A, you're smart. B, you have an experience of being a massage therapist. You can utilize that. And didn't you say that you worked with like a chiropractor and physical therapist?" I was like, "Yeah, as a massage therapist, but yeah, I learned a few things here and there." It's like, "You can use that as your advantage." And he's just going on and on. I was like, I start listening. I was like, "All right, you know what? You twisted my arm." So I show up, and as the majority of you know this story already, I show up. I'm the only one that shows up to the class. And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on here? And Mike Pacheco, he's like, "Well, I guess it's just you and I." And so I take the class. It's a 2-day course, and I goes down to the final stretch, and I take the test, and I pass. I'm like, wow, like I passed. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I started becoming a trainer, and then and just from there on out, that's where I started excelling and enjoying my job. And now how I became a coach too. That's for a different story, and I'll tell you about my downfalls and failures there. But ultimately, I just want to kind of tell you about how I got to where I am by all the times that I failed. I failed at college. I eventually graduated, became a first generation in my family. I went and got an awesome career over in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, but I wasn't happy, and I had to come back home, live with my mom. And I got kicked out of my friend's house and started having to work a shit job, working 3 o'clock in the morning, dealing with all this. And then an opportunity came, and I became a trainer, and I became a top trainer over at Crunch Fitness because I was doing my job. And as the saying goes on my site, you know, I'm a different kind of training where I focus you as a person rather than the results. And that's another thing that I'll talk about later in the day for another time. But yeah, what drives me and what gets me up and going is, you know, failing. Because not every successful story is from immediately having a success. I wasn't successful. I failed so many times. I can count probably with both my hands, both my feet, and probably this guy over here that's looking at me talking to my phone, and at his hands and feet on how many times I failed. Guys, don't fear failure. You know, embrace it, accept it, and just take it as a learning lesson. Not everyone is gonna win. Not every time are you gonna succeed in something right away. It just takes a few kicks in the ass and a few stumbles and falls to get to where you need to be. You know, brush off the dirt, get back up, fight what you want to fight for, do what you want to do. Just don't give up. I could have given up in college. I could have just said, you know what, fuck this piece of paper, fuck this book. I don't want to go to school anymore. And then where would I be? I'll probably be back in Mountain Home, working at a dairy, or I could be, you know, working at a farm, doing some back-breaking work. I could be driving truck like my old man. Just something that I would probably hate. And then disappointing my mom, you know. Like I said, she was a single mom, Latino mom. She would bust her ass off, working 4 jobs, just so I can have food on the table, clothes on my back, and the roof over our head. But I didn't. I got my degree. I started my career. Yeah, I failed, and I didn't let that stop me. You know. I think that's all I gotta say for today. So again, I appreciate you guys. If there's anything that I can do or any questions that you have to ask, feel free to shoot me a quick message. Or if you're really ready to hop on the train and get onto some training and take control of your life and have me as your trainer, go onto the link, attach it below in the comments or in the description for you to hop on. I do, private training. I do programs. You want to do some soccer training, you can do that. Boxing, group, whatever it may be. I'm all for it. I'm here to help you out, help you take control of your life. All right, guys. Much love, much respect. Thank you for watching. And again, if you ever need anything or have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me. Email silvatraining208@gmail.com. You can call me, shoot me a text, 208-580-4443. And again, silvatraining208@gmail.com. Phone number 208-580-4443. All right, that's all I got for you guys today, and appreciate you being patient with me and listening to my story. All right, take care.